Sophie Longden with you on this Wednesday morning, and time for our regular Wednesday morning catch-up with our local mayors. And this morning, Councillor Liz Innes is on the line from the Eurobodalla. Morning, Liz. How are you?
Good morning, Sophie. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And it does seem like there's a lot of politicians coming to Eden Monaro at the moment as part of this by-election, of course. And we've got Joel Fitzgibbon, the Shadow Minister for Agriculture and Resources in the region. A lot of interest from all different politicians and different persuasions.
Well, look, and Sophie, it never hurts for those politicians to come down out of Canberra and get out into the regions and talk to people, you know, at a local level and find out just firsthand, you know, the things that are affecting us. So, you know, obviously, from my perspective, it's a good thing.
And of course, we've heard news that the National Cabinet will probably be sticking around in some form. It does seem that there's a greater concept of cooperation across all platforms of government, including local government. That must be something that you see as a positive as well?
Oh, absolutely. I welcome it. It's about time. And you know, maybe that will be one of the good things that will come out of the experience that we've been through with the bushfires and with COVID. Is a bit more of a cooperation and a bit more of a softening of people from, you know, not being so polarised in their positions, but being more willing to, you know, work in the space that's in between. So, you know, look, that could be a really good thing.
And as you mentioned, it has been such a difficult time for the region, and particularly for parts of the Eurobodalla where that recovery process is still very much underway and still a lot of people quite disenfranchised and feeling a bit disconnected still.
Look, there's no doubt about it, Sophie, but, you know, look, I also do want to, you know, obviously we still have people that need a whole lot of help. There's no doubt about that. But I do want to also acknowledge some of the incredible good things that are happening. And, you know, I think we sometimes get caught in, you know, the negatives all the time. But, you know, look, there have been some incredibly good stories. There have been some wonderful people who, you know, have been inspirational and, you know, helping their local community. So, you know, just last week, for example, the week before, we had our local hero awards here in Eurobodalla, and we acknowledged two incredible individuals that represent larger organisations. And one was Anthony Billette, who, you know, is a surf club representative, but really stepped up through the bushfire experience and, you know, delivered for his local community out at Malua Bay. And the other one is Matthew Hatcher, who, you know, works with a group called the South Coast Donations Logistics Crew. And, you know, they still are every single day striving and helping our community. So, you know, look, yes, we have a long way to go. There's no doubt about that. And we all knew that, you know, after the experience that we've been through, that the road to recovery is going to be a very long one, and it is going to take a lot of grit and determination for us all to make sure that we focus and that we get the help that we need.
And of course, those resources are still there. Council's still very much present if people do feel the need to reach out. Maybe they think that things aren't happening fast enough for them.
Oh, 100%, Sophie. And on that matter, we have a number there at Council. Look, I don't have it just at hand, but you can go onto the Council website. When the recovery centre's closed, we set up a helpline that you can ring at Council, and we will direct you to where you need to go to get help. Now, you know, there's still people that, you know, I'm hearing lately that there's people need help with their DAs. I'm hearing that there's still going to be issues around clean-up. So, look, we're there to help. And, you know, I've also put the call out. If anybody needs to contact me directly, my phone number is public. So, you know, it's there as well. Please don't sit out there and you know, be looking for help and support. Reach out to us and we can get you connected.
All right, and just having a quick look there with Eurobodalla, we've got a couple of different numbers, but at this stage it looks like that information and help desk is 44 434. But we'll also see if there's an alternate number that we can let people know about very shortly.
Sophie, that's actually the best one.
Great. Okay, so that's 44 747 434. And Liz, obviously another positive coming from this is that sense that there's a lot of people around the country, not just around the state and from Canberra and Melbourne, that are coming back to our region, wanting to genuinely come back and support the region and put money back into the local economy.
Oh, look, it's wonderful. And look, for those listeners, obviously the pubs and clubs were allowed to open on Monday, which coincided with, our visitors being able to come into the region, particularly from Canberra. A lot of them had a long weekend. And, I was one of the first to line up for a pub feed at my local pub in Bateman's Bay. And, I didn't realise just how much I'd missed that kind of social interaction. And it was just lovely. And it was lovely to see, kind of buzz around people being able to start to, do a few of the things that make us feel normal. Sitting down for a meal with friends is something that, I don't think I will ever take for granted again, that's for sure.
And obviously it's a complicated situation because we want the visitors to be here, but we're also working within those pretty stringent guidelines around keeping safe and keeping our communities safe with COVID-19. So therefore, do you feel there's enough resources, enough information available, particularly for those small businesses who are opening their doors for the first time?
Look, I think that there is, and there's no doubt it is going to be tough, and these changes, are going to take some time for us to get used to. But obviously, first and foremost in our mind is making sure that we keep everybody safe, and that's why, these restrictions are slowly being unwound, and they're not just, opening everything up straight away. So, look, it's beholden on all of us to do the right thing. We need to keep practising social distancing. We need to really make sure that we keep practising social hygiene. So, look, steady as we go. But, there are so many businesses here that, I just really take my hat off to. They have changed the way that they operate. They are trying to, look at different ways to do different things. So long as we are all mindful and support each other, I think that, we have got some opportunities coming out of this to really reconnect with each other on a local level. Interestingly, Eurobodalla has always been a place where we know that we get a lot of visitors that are friends and visiting relatives. And, obviously 97% of travellers to Eurobodalla are from the domestic market. So, look, we're positioned really well, Sophie. We've got a lot to offer down here, and I know that there's a great will for people across Australia and New South Wales to really get out into the regions and have a look what's out there.
And in fact, we've heard news this week that Canberra Airport will be opening up to international flights as well, which obviously means that down the track there may be some more visitors that are going to be able to take a more direct route into our region when things are safe again to do so.
Exactly. So.
Now, Liz Innes, the other question I guess that we've got at the moment, and we've had a few texts on this morning, is off the back of all of these different grants, all of these different levels of government funding. One of the big ones that was highlighted recently was the arts funding, and particularly of course the arts funding that went to the Mackay Park facility in the Eurobodalla, which is a combined project of both arts and recreation, and of course another big picture arts item in our region in the Bega Valley. The Bega Valley Regional Gallery missed out on the same funding. What's your take on all of that now that you've had these conversations with people in the community about it?
Well, look, Sophie, my understanding, and I'm loath to sort of enter in and comment on other shires, but, I think that they did get quite a substantial amount of funding down there, albeit it wasn't for the major project that they had put forward. But look, just on our project, we put forward an incredible project for our local community here, and we're delighted that we were able to get support for that. And it was well supported by our local community. It was, we had a great business case, and we were able to attract that funding. So, look, I'm not going to buy into this sort of, their shire didn't get this and our shire got that. Across the regions, when you look at, just what Bega and Eurobodalla have received in government funding in recent years, it is just phenomenal. And, that is a real credit to the working relationship that we've had with our local member, Andrew Constance, and, the work that our local people put into these amazing projects that we put forward. I'm incredibly proud of Eurobodalla Shire, and we have, massive range of projects that we've been able to get funded in, the last few years. It's a $1 billion story when you look across the board of the grants that have come in, and that is, because we are shovel ready. We have, we do our homework. We do all the planning and works to go forward. So when that money is available, there is, no surprise that we're able to attract the type of grant funding that we do.
And Liz Innes, one of the other issues that perhaps has been a little bit hidden from view among all the other conversations we're having in our community at the moment is the rural land strategy. And it's been an ongoing one that the community and local government has had to grapple with. Have you got any updates for us on that?
Well, other than it's in and it's been done, Sophie, so really no. But if people want to have any information on their own individual properties and where they might stand, then I encourage them to contact our planning department. There's all sorts of help there. What I will say on that, though, is that, going forward when we're looking at people trying to put their DAs and things in to re-establish after, losing their properties or their homes to bushfire, is that we need to really very closely look at ways that we support that. Now, Council has a range of initiatives as far as what we want to do to support and help people in our local area, and that is one issue that I think we need to do a little bit more work in. My understanding is that a lot of people do have insurance to cover their DA fees, but I'm hearing a bit of feedback over the last week or so that, there may be some gaps there. So I've asked our General Manager to have a look at that and see what else we can do from a council level to support people that, have obviously been through devastation, and we need to make sure that the money and funds that are available are going directly to those people who've been impacted.
And I think we've seen that previously in communities such as Tathra, that a lot of, even though there is insurance cover there, a lot of these extra costs that come through in the rebuild can often take people by surprise. And I think the DA is also going to be one that's not only a complex one for people to finance, but also just to get those documents in and do that with very limited capabilities in some cases.
Exactly, Sophie. So, look, I just encourage people to contact us directly at Council. And again, if individuals are having specific issues, please don't hesitate. Reach out and contact me. I can direct them to where they might be able to get help and support. But it is something that Council is still working on. We obviously have funds that we have been rolling out to support local businesses and our community. And it's important that we keep reviewing that and making sure that we are targeting those that really need that money. And there is something else I'd like to say on all of that too, Sophie, and I must say that I am getting more and more disappointed in the Red Cross. Now, this withholding of funds that were donated by people for bushfire relief, I think it has to stop, and I think we all as a community need to put more pressure on them to get that money out and get it out now. People didn't donate, to charities for it to be withheld for, further future disasters. They donated it because people had been through such a devastating experience as a bushfire. So, look, I'm calling on them to make sure that money keeps rolling out to where it's needed, because it is needed now.
It sounds like you're meeting a bit of a brick wall there, Liz Innes. Have you been trying to communicate with Red Cross? Have you been advocating on people's behalf?
Oh, absolutely, Sophie, and I'll never stop doing that. But it's up to all of us. We all need to, everybody needs to be held account. There's hundreds of millions of dollars that have been, raised, and we need to make sure that it gets out there and it gets out to the people that need it.
Would you like to see some kind of a coordinated meeting between Red Cross and some of the other charities and local and state and federal government, perhaps, that we maybe need to unpick this a little bit?
Look, those calls have already been made, Sophie, and we're just waiting to see what happens with that. Obviously, the COVID-19 restrictions and things that were put on us, they have had an impact. There's no doubt about that. But, those conversations still are happening. But, we cannot drop the ball on this. We need to keep pushing forward, and we need to keep making sure that every single one of us, doesn't matter what role that we play, is doing our part and making sure that we're doing it to the very best of our abilities.
Liz Innes, always great to chat. We appreciate the updates. Thanks so much.
No problem, Sophie, and have a great day, everybody.
You too. Councillor Liz Innes there, the Mayor of Eurobodalla, of course, and our regular council catch up with our local mayors on a Wednesday morning.